Nowadays, Forever Changes is considered to be one of the greatest albums of all time. However, when it was originally released in the US in November 1967, the record went pretty much unnoticed, peaking at number 157 in the album charts. The album had a much stronger showing in the UK, and it was welcomed with great and enthusiastic reviews when it was originally released there a few months later, in February 1968. Forever Changes managed to reach number 24 on the UK album chart. Apart from the great reviews, John Peel also played a major role in introducing the record to British audiences through his radio show on BBC One.
Oh, yes indeed. If you don't own that, 1968 isn't going to be such a good year for you as it might be. That's from the LP Forever Changes by Love, and that's a house, it's not a motel, which is excellent. Unfortunately, Jay Cantrelli, who was with Love, left the group, which is a pity because it was a nice name, Jay, spelled T-J-A-Y. I sometimes wish that I was Jay Peel, but there you are, I can't have everything.
On January 1968, Disc and Music Echo magazine announced,
Love, the first prophets of this new electric religion, may appear here early this year. What makes this truly amazing is that never before have Love played a gig more than 3 miles away from their hometown, and here they are, eager to make the 6,000-mile trip. Further excellent Love news is that their new LP Forever Changes is out February 1st.
Later that same month, the first single from the album was issued. Journalist Penny Valentine, who used to review the new singles every week for Disc and Music Echo magazine, wrote,
"Certainly the best of the West Coast groups. I have always loved Love's ability to combine progress with strong melody and a certain indefinable something. They have now moved into a new musical field, widening their sound with the use of strings and Tijuana brass. It is not only interesting but really lovely and satisfying. This starts with Simon and Garfunkel guitar and then their very individual warm close voices plaintively lifting to the trumpet middle break. That's magnificent. A fabulous record that probably won't mean a thing but is worth a place in anyone's collection."
Derek Johnson reviewed the single for the New Musical Express.
Here's a disc with a difference which I strongly commend. It won't be a hit, but it's a must for the discerning fan. An upbeat folksy item with just the suggestion of a Spanish influence in the brilliant scoring, which includes acoustic guitar, solo trumpet and shimmering strings. Absorbing lyric appealingly harmonized by Love, all things considered, an above-average disc.
When the album was released a month later, some British journalists were already calling the album a near classic. Beat Instrumental magazine ran a 5-page feature about new American bands who had yet to gain widespread popularity in Britain. Journalist Mike Clifford wrote about bands like The Doors, The Byrds, The Association, and Love. Clifford wrote,
Forever Changes, Love's third album, has been remarked upon as a near classic by many people in the business, and this is certainly my opinion. In fact, it marked a breakthrough for the group when it made the LP chart recently. It is progressive enough to be different but still understandable, although some of the titles are like conjurer's tricks. The use of brass enhances Arthur Lee's words and music to an almost fable-like quality. It is not worth attempting to categorize an album like this, but Lee has obviously reached a musical peak for the moment. It rests upon him to retreat to the Californian hills again, where the group resides, to think up an LP equally as beautiful. I don't doubt that he will succeed. Elektra will then have another masterpiece for us.
Chris Welch reviewed the album for The Melody Maker and was also enthusiastic about it.
A superb example of modern American pop at its most tasteful and purposeful. In the past, their playing skill has been amply demonstrated. Now their appeal has been amplified by the addition of an orchestra. And combined with the thoughtful and often poetic lyrics of Arthur Lee, result in an advance beyond the realms of simple pop. All people are recommended to give Love a hearing. The unconverted may well be surprised.
Disc and Music Echo magazine also gave the album a great review.
The first track on this stunning new album sets the scene for the whole LP. A feeling of strings, incredible trumpets and brilliant guitar work with Love's always recognizable staccato phrasing in Arthur Lee's hard clear voice, over a hard rhythmic beat. What makes this group even more incredible is that since the release of their first LP, a whole new musical world has erupted around them. So what has Love done about it? Nothing. They remain pure Love. Their progress a progression only on their own music, so that the similarities between their first album and this, their third, are boundless. And so are the differences. An amazing record altogether from the very best of the Californian groups.
On that same issue of Disc and Music Echo, the magazine published a letter from a reader who was praising the virtues of the album. The reader wrote, "Congratulations to Love on the third album Forever Changes, another brilliant construction of sheer beauty and originality. Far superior to any British group album." Beat Instrumental magazine, who had already praised the album on that article about new American groups, also reviewed the record.
Love came well before the upsurge of last year's West Coast groups. Their music is a cross between instrumental violence and vocal softness, and they have a strong leader in guitarist Arthur Lee, who has obviously made up his mind as to what style his group will play in, and sticks to it. It is difficult to categorize an album like this, other than to say it bears true marks of progression, and is honestly meant, that is, genuine. Love know their own direction, and have moved steadily with it since their classic single 7 and 7 is. This LP is proof.
Despite the great reviews and moderate success of Forever Changes in Britain, this was a tumultuous period for the band. Brian McLean left the group acrimoniously and the other members were dismissed by leader Arthur Lee. By the time the band released their following album For Sale, Arthur Lee was the only remaining member of the Forever Changes lineup. Forever Changes remains a timeless masterpiece, an album that deserved better luck when it was originally released, but over the years has gained the recognition it deserves as the truly great album it is.